Three, two, one. Hey everyone, you're watching another episode of Ash on Comics. With me is going to be a new regular stand-in guy, my co-host, Stan the Man. Hey Stan, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for many, many years of great comics and being basically the father of the industry and everything great as we know it. That's a big drink you got there, Stan. Must be thirsty. Today we're going to be talking about Flash, Year 1. Issue number 70. His origin starts here. And this is a Barry Allen. So when you talk about Flash, you can't... there's way too many Flashes. You have to be specific. Barry Allen Flash. Origin starts here. Really cool cover. I like this. I'm seeing all the burned out shoes. I'm a big fan of origin stories. I think in the world of comics, origin stories are among the best. My favorite comic of all time is Batman Year 1. That is an origin story. All my favorite comic movies are all origin stories. I don't know. There's just something about that journey, the arc of being a normal person or whatever, and then to growing to become a hero. I think that's why I like the origin story. It's not so much that I care to be like, oh, you wouldn't even gotten bit by a spider and all that stuff. Like, in terms of Spider-Man, that's not interesting to me so much. What is interesting is learning that, oh, shoot, your Uncle Ben needed help. Sorry, not your Uncle Ben needed help. Like, there was a criminal, and after you got your powers, you were just like, I don't care. And that criminal ended up running off and killing your uncle later, and you realize you could have stopped him, but you didn't. And that journey, that moment, that trend that changes your life from being just a careless kid to someone who takes on a responsibility. That's what I like. So I was really excited when I heard Flash was getting a Year 1 story. I really like Joshua Williamson. I think he's one of the best writers probably in mainstream comics. And I've never been a big Flash fan. That's kind of why I'm excited. So I've been looking forward to this number 70. I buy Flash every issue because my friend's little girl likes the Flash, and I'm trying to encourage her to enjoy comics, so I picked that up. But I'm buying these all the time, and I'm like, I should probably read these. I like the author, and I don't want to buy two. I don't want to buy two. So I'm like, I'm going to start Flash here. And I have read some Flashes because Bats has got me to read some stuff in the past or whatever, but it's still, I'm very little knowledgeable. So here we go. Flash, Year 1. That's not Flash. Starts off with a really cool imagery. And this looks like a multi-panel thing, but it's a window pane. Camera's dying. All right. Through the magic of the pause button, I have gone and plugged my phone in without interrupting anything. Here we're back. Now I'm saying this looks like a panel. Chapter 1, he will be the fastest man alive. And I can presume this basically by looking out here, these windows, multi-panel window, and he's just seeing his reflection, looking out in the storm. Barry? But it's not his reflection. Well, it is, but it's a symbolic reflection of the man he will become one day. Bartholomew Henry Allen, where did you run off to? So he's up in the attic, and I don't know if I can, what am I talking about? I can zoom in. Look what he's reading. Look what he's reading. Old school Flash. And he's up in the attic, and apparently his mom is a big comics fan. Okay. That's possible. Very unlikely. But, moving on. And looks like he got in a fight, and she's just like, Barry, you should have told me you're being picked on. And it's like, he wasn't. He stepped in for another kid, and he's talking about like heroes would never let something like that get them down. And here we see more comics. All Flash. Look at that. So he's a Flash fan before he becomes the Flash. That's my Barry, always hopeful. Whatever happens in this life, never lose that, please. And then it fades to black. You're late, Alan. And apparently that's a big trope of the Flash, that he's always late. 15 years later, there's another crime scene across town this morning, August, and when the bus was late, sorry. It's okay, man. I was just giving you a hard time. Talk to me, Barry. What's that big brain seeing? So here we get to see Barry as a forensic scientist studying crime scene. That's what he does. And we get a little bit of that backstory. And then in walks Iris. Basically Flash's Lois Lane. And she has a little bit of an interest in him. Kind of flirtatious a little bit, but also playing kind of hard to get. Barry's just a little awkward, and there's some interesting dialogue there. And August was wrong. No matter how nice the day is, I can always see when a storm's coming. Every day I stare down at crime scenes, and I'm reminded of the horror that this life is capable of. And because of the crime in Central City, it's nearly impossible to look forward to the future and see anything positive. Now, jeez, words. I always forget to do this when I'm recording. Whoa. Here. Nope. Jesus. Sometimes I hate Apple. And that's most of the time. Their shit sucks. But they make a good tablet. Anyways, losing track here. I didn't realize Central City was just like this fucking dregs of society. It's just crime ridden. It makes it like Gotham. He's like depressed because there's so much crime. So then I had to think about it and go, well, it's probably because that's all he sees, right? He's when it's your job facing like crime scenes all the time, it skews your perspective. Anyways. So he stumbles over this guy, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Don't worry. Mistakes happen. Oh, Dad, it's raining." And the parents come out. "Oh, we shouldn't be out in the streets after dark anyway. But you know what? The sun will come out tomorrow." I wish I shared that father's sense of optimism. It's good that he can keep hope alive for his family. Nights like this remind me of my mom and me reading comics in the attic. And then he's working on this case. That was the last time I remember being happy. After her murder, I worked to learn everything I could about forensic evidence. The court said my father killed my mother. The case was closed. There was no justice for her. So every night, I worked to prove my father's innocence, but I need that evidence processed now, Barry. Then, I know what I said about tonight, but I need to help with my brother's case. So there's that cop who's asking for help that I really didn't go over. It's going to be a long night. So Barry's just wrapped up in his job. That's all he has in his life. And then Iris texts him. Huh? Iris? Why is someone like her interested in someone like me? Iris. And then boom! Lightning comes through the window. How improbable that is. It's comics. And of course, there's all these chemicals, things going on. Bzz. Hey, if a radioactive spider can turn someone superhuman, so can lightning and chemicals. Okay. And then we get this. Barry. That's my Barry. We're losing him. I'm sorry, son. Hopeful. We need to treat these chemical burns. And so it's like this life, passing, not life passing by, but, the typical type of scene where it's like he's got flashes of this trauma and is being sent to the hospital. Central City CSI is struck by lightning, still in coma. I murdered your brother, Barry. Or your mother, sorry. Please. You're lucky to be alive, Alan. She's hopeful. Gone. Please. Murdered. And then he wakes up June 15th. So it was February 11th, if you remember. No! Oh, sore all over, hospital. And this is where he discovers he's got super speed and he's, whoa, everything's moving super fast. He's juggling it. what the what? How did I just want to go when he's zooming across. Home. What is happening to me? Central City PD. So we see him zipping around, and they don't waste time really doing his origin. I mean, we're halfway through the book, and boom, here's how Flash becomes Flash. That's kind of surprising to me. I was expecting a little bit more of a build-up, but this works. Presumably, it's going to be more just like Batman was, where it's more about the first year of being the hero rather than how you became the hero. And we see some different scenes of Barry kind of adapting. I don't really want to go into like all the details. Good books, I think, should be read, and I feel bad sometimes when I spoil them because I'm just like, I'm not really here to like get people not to read comics so they can just, get the story through me. But sometimes that's what's needed, I guess. I've never been much of a runner, but my mom always told me, try and try again. When I first ran with the powers, I was able to stop, but now, not so much. And you can see the shoes piling up. I'm holding back, afraid, and I need better shoes. So Wayne Tech donated fireproof jackets to Central City Fire Department. So he's got these Wayne Tech fire boot shoes that he wears that just coincidentally have little lightning bolts. And that's where he starts off. And he's now testing his abilities to what he can do. I really like the art on this. The style isn't usually kind of what I go for, but there's just something to it. I really liked this scene and how it's broken down into panels, and he's crashing. He's just not able to fully control. And as he was testing his ability and pushing himself, he inadvertently slipped through time. King Turtle doesn't like to wait. And he's just like, this is... And you see the newspaper here. Flash loses Central City. The future? This is a nightmare. What are you doing out of your shell? I don't know what you're talking about. Don't worry, we'll take good care of you. Damn it, Barry. You shouldn't be here. And he's like, look at what? When are we gonna learn how dangerous time travel is? Old Man Flash, coming soon to DC Comics. No, but seriously, this was a cool reveal. I was like, oh damn. This has got to be used in a Flash comic, right? Because Flash is like almost synonymous with time travel. And you screwed up the whole DC universe with Flashpoint. So this was really cool. Here's the credits for the book. Not a ton happened in this book, but it was just right. If too much had happened, you wouldn't have gotten to know the characters enough. And I felt like they were pushing that as it was. I felt like I wanted more of the character development moments of Barry before he got his powers. Maybe Barry as a kid with his mom. I kind of wanted more of that already. And had they pushed it too hard with things happening in the book, he would have had to cut even more of that out. So overall, I think it was within the window of appropriateness, the level of action versus content, what's happening. The big reveal was kind of worth it in the end. It makes me just want to go, oh shit, I can't wait till the next issue. I really trust Joshua Williamson. I didn't realize he was co-writing this with Howard Porter, who I'm not familiar with. So I'm going to probably maybe look up his credits. I recommend this. It's every bit as good as I was hoping it to be. And I've been telling people, like, look, if you're interested at all in Flash, but you're just like, I've never really read it, or You got the perfect jumping on point. This is no pre-knowledge necessary. This is year one. It's the beginning. You don't have to know anything. Even then, you're probably going to wonder who the King Turtle is. That's fine. You don't have to know anything. I barely know anything, so it works. And that's it. Hopefully you'll pick this up and read it. It's a big recommend for me. There's my thumb. Nothing else to say. So I will keep it sweet and short and sweet. Even Stan, who's a big Marvel guy, says, what do you say, Stan? I don't want to speak for Stan. But he approves. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Time for another JL8 webcomic. Strip number 27 by Yale Stewart. Click. Huh? Would you mind if I join you, sir? I have cookies. And you know how I do love a Mad Bomber episode. I know, Alfred.